So we're Jordan and Kaylee. I'm Kaylee.
I'm Jordan.
We're from Boston, Massachusetts, and we've been living here in Boquete for about a year now? Almost a year.
8 months, 9 months.
It'll be a year in August.
And we spend most of our time living in our school bus that we drove down here from.
Yep.
Started in Boston, went all the way up to Alaska.
Yeah. Down through Central America, Mexico, all of Central America, and then...
Now we're here.
Now we're here. So we actually started making YouTube videos right when we hit the road in our bus, which was August of 2017. And we had the intention of just traveling for 6 months and then going back home. But luckily we actually were able to make YouTube a lucrative thing. We were able to make money off of it. So we kind of just kept going with it, and then 6 months turned into a year, turned into 2 years, and then almost 2.5 years we found ourselves traveling through Central America. We were actually planning on going down to South America, and we were going to ship our bus over on a boat down to Colombia. And we actually came to Boquete, and it's funny because we weren't planning on staying here at all. We were just going to book it through Panama. But kind of how all the events played out, we ended up having some bus issues, and we needed to get some...
we need to get some parts. We need to get a fuel pump.
We need to get some parts delivered here. So we ended up coming up to Boquete to kind of wait it out until the parts got delivered to David. And within 3 days...
We were looking at land.
We were looking at land. So yeah, it was kind of crazy how it all happened, and neither of us ever expected to end up moving not only to another country, but Panama in general. We never had it on our radar whatsoever until we came to Boquete. So yeah, now we're here, and it's been almost 9 months, and we found this plot of land probably 3 months into being here and looking, and
we knew right away.
Kaylee
looked right at me and she's like, "This is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one."
Yeah.
And then the realtor was right next to him, like, "Shh, don't say anything.
Yeah,
don't get too excited."
Yeah. I was always way too vocal with the realtors.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out great anyway, and yeah. So we've been trying to essentially build this land into an off-grid functioning homestead. So our goal with this land is to have 3 or 4 other people or families come and be a part of this with us. And we essentially want to just completely live off the land, whether it be with growing our own food, having our own animals, collecting our own rainwater, and then solar to power all our,
It's like a new challenge. Everything that we've kind of done up to this point, from living in 90 square feet to traveling all over the place, driving through the middle of nowhere up to Alaska.
Yeah. Everything's
been a challenge in its own. Now this is the new one.
Right.
And it's like, what does it take to be self-reliant?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're trying to do now. So we first met Jackie, maybe it was a week after we decided we were going to try and buy land here. And she and her daughter found us on YouTube, and she came and found us. We were at a little campsite in town, and being a small town, she knew right where we were, and she came and she said, "Hey, I just want to help you guys." So we needed help because we were so lost at the time. How things work here is obviously different than not only the States or Europe or wherever you're from, but it's just a whole new kind of way of doing things, and she had all the connections to kind of make stuff happen. So right away, as we were continuing to have more bus problems, she took us in, and actually there was a house on her property, and she let us stay there, helped us sort through all the problems, helped us get a mechanic.
Yeah.
And if you have the connection here, one of the things that we've learned is if you have the connection, you can make things happen really fast.
Yeah. But it's who you know.
But if you don't, when you're brand new, you don't know anybody.
Exactly.
So you don't have those connections.
Right.
So having someone like Jackie was very helpful for us because she knew exactly who to call, who was reliable.
Right.
They'd show up right away. They would get it done.
Yeah.
And we were getting fair prices too, which is really helpful too. So right out of the gate, right in the beginning, she was a big help for us, and we were lost, and she helped steer us in the right direction. I think in terms of opportunities here for business, the only thing that could hold you back is the amount of time you have, because there's so many opportunities, and the barriers to entry to start a business are so much less than you may experience elsewhere. So a popular place where people have built small businesses is even just through the local farmers market, and it's very easy to take your passion and turn it into a business here. We see people selling honey and sausages and cheese, and they get goats and make goat milk and goat cheese, and there's a lot of opportunity to not only start a business but do a business that you're passionate about. And for us, that was coffee.
Yeah.
And that was something that drew us here. I mean, this is like
Coffee Central, baby.
Yeah, and it's not only is it Coffee Central, but it's great coffee.
Yeah.
It's some of the best coffee in the world. So it almost kind of just like naturally happened on its own, because we were affiliating ourselves with people who had coffee shops, had coffee farms, and they're like, hey, this is something that we could easily get into.
Right.
And now we started selling our own coffee. We started a coffee business. We export coffee to the United States and sell Panamanian coffee to people all throughout the States and Europe and all over the world.
When we first got to Boquete, and within like the first few days when we were like, okay, this might be where we want to plant our feet, the really only one and biggest concern that we had was finding a community of people that were our age. I mean, there's so many incredible people here, but that was a concern of ours. That was a real legitimate concern of ours. And kind of as time went on, we were really, really surprised with the amount of young people that actually came around the same time as us, maybe even just within like a few months. So we quickly kind of created a little friendship group very quickly. And another thing that we kind of had the intention of was maybe through our YouTube channel, we could maybe even bring more people down here, whether it be our own friends or just people that we connected with through YouTube, through the internet. And over time, over the last 8 or 9 months, it's just like that concern of ours has just completely, gone away. And the amount of friends and the amount of younger people that we're seeing come just naturally now is really encouraging.
There's a lot that came right around the same time as us.
Yeah,
There was like a group of like 15 groups of couples or people that all came within like the same like 4 or 5 months.
Right.
And it was really exciting because we were all going through the same stuff together.
Yeah.
And it's just been really nice having a nice community of young people.
Yeah, and it's cool too because they're not just people from the States. We have friends from South Africa. We have friends from
Venezuela,
absolutely. So it's people from all over the world that, for some reason, Boquete is just bringing all of these people here.
I think something that's important to say though is I think it's okay to be open to challenges when you come to Panama, because things are so different. Not only is the culture different, the language is different, the rules are different, the laws are different.
I think it's something that you have to expect when moving to another country.
There's going to be new challenges, and that's part of the adventure, and that's part of the excitement, I think. So one issue we had, we were trying to drive to Panama City
in our bus,
and we didn't understand the rules fully, and we thought we were fine to drive, but it turned out our permit had expired. So we ended up getting our bus impounded, and we had to go and get it out of the impound. But then we were like, okay, this is a learning experience.
Totally.
This was one of our challenges.
Yeah.
But then we continued on. It took a few days, and then we went on to Panama City after, and it was like so worth it.
Yeah.
To go there because it's such a cool place and so different and so old.
Yeah.
And we went to a place called Casco Viejo, which is kind of like the old city.
Yeah.
And it's all old architecture, and it's like
trendy little restaurants.
Artsy and there's like really cool art everywhere.
Definitely.
We had a great time there.
Yeah.
And
it was cool to see like the contrast of Panama. So it was like we fell in love with Panama because of Boquete, and the peacefulness, the quietness, the community here, the people here. But then also like going to Panama City, it was cool to have that city vibe and to know that if we were ever craving like, a night out where we wanted to get dressed up and, go dancing on the town and go out to eat, grab drinks with friends, whatever, we have that access as well.
It also showed us that there's a lot to explore here. I mean, it's such a small country.
Totally.
But there's so much. I mean, there's so much that we haven't even gone to the beach yet. We haven't even got to Boquete del Toro or any of these. There's so many places to go and see.
Yeah.
And we've kind of just been like holding back on them because there's little adventures for us to take in the future.
Right.
And a ton to see.
Yeah.
I think the best entertainment we've ever had is this view and the weather, because it's just so like mesmerizing, and I don't know if extreme is the word, but it's like the ways that the clouds look and the way they go into the mountain and the way that it rains and how heavy it can be, but it's like 15 minutes of this like downpour rain, and then it clears out and it's beautiful, and you just get
there's
this
a freaking rainbow across the whole
it's the natural beauty, and the whole environment is just, you can just sit here and just watch it.
Yeah.
And there's birds flying around and hawks, and it's just it's the weather is very different because it's kind of it can be extreme in multiple ways, from the wind and the rain. Those are kind of the two seasons, but you have to embrace it and you have to accept it, and we think it's entertaining, and it's like fun to watch it all play out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like us coming from Boston, Massachusetts, like we're used to having like the 4 seasons, spring, summer, winter, fall. And winter can be very intense with like,
huge snowstorms,
3 feet of snow and whatever. And then the summers get really, 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 really hot. So it's like we're used to that contrast, whereas here it's
a different contrast.
It's a different type of contrast, yeah. So it's like you get the dry season, you get the wet season. But like the dry season, it's gorgeous, it's dry, it's hot. But it's windy. It's very, 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 very windy.
And it's interesting enough, though, the rainy season is warmer.
Yeah.
At least where we live, it's warmer, but
a little bit more humid.
But you get a lot of rain, and everything gets so green and vibrant
lush,
and alive.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like just learning kind of how to appreciate these things for what they are. And for us, like we're trying to take advantage of these things. So like we're actually very soon going to be installing a wind turbine. So during the wind season, we can actually generate energy for our homestead from the wind. And then also with the rain, we want to collect as much rain as possible and hold it in tanks and use it for drinking one day. So it's just using the elements that we have to our greatest advantage.
And that kind of plays into our future goals too, because we're trying to be self-reliant, and that's the whole challenge, is how can we not rely on anyone but ourselves, our farm, the people here that are with us, and the weather to survive and thrive and support ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're just getting started. It was kind of just like we had to get our bus up here and get it level and get it on a foundation and build a little bit of a living space so we can be comfortable as we take bigger steps.
Right.
So we've been building a greenhouse. We actually just finished it, and we're building a workshop now to help put all of our tools in, be able to build when it's raining. And then once the workshop's done, we're going to start building our first house.
This is our pup Lola. She wanted to be in the shot, so.
We always say that she's the one who led us here because she wanted to just be free, and we just let her run around. She's a farm dog. Yeah. She's chasing the cows, playing with other dogs.
She's been loving it. Yeah,
just living free and running around. She loves it here.
So I think probably one of the most memorable things that we've experienced here in Boquete, and something that we didn't really expect, is like the first few months being here. It's this really quiet, peaceful town, and the really cool and kind of funny thing about Panama is they have a lot of holidays here, and pretty much any holiday is an excuse for the Panamanians to celebrate.
Shut the town down.
They shut the town
down. Put
a
parade through the street.
They got parades, they got marching bands, they got reggaeton playing all night long, they got fireworks on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. But it's fun, and that's the cool thing about it, is like you have that peacefulness majority of the time, but then you also have the liveliness and the culture and the excitement of what Panama's all about, and celebrating these holidays in such a beautiful way. So as we mentioned before, we have a YouTube channel that's what our main work is, and it's called the Nomadic Movement. So for the first 2 years of our videos, it was all about travel, whereas now the last year essentially has all been about building out this land and the whole process of turning this raw land into a homestead. So it's a lot of seeing, the progress of what we got going on, but it's, a lot of our kind of personalities intertwined in it, and the people that we meet, and
the challenges that
we face. Yeah, there's not really anything about ourselves that we hide on camera. We kind of just throw it all out there for everyone to see. But it's been a really fun process, and it's been really cool being able to share, our story with as many people as possible.
So the two of us have traveled through a lot of popular expat places.
Yeah.
There's a lot in Mexico that we went through, and there's a lot in Costa Rica that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
And Costa Rica and Panama are always kind of compared because they're so right next to each other.
Yeah.
And they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Right.
But the biggest difference, hands down, is the price.
Yeah.
What we've learned to expect is a lot of things in Panama is about half price, and sometimes even less than the States.
Mm-hmm.
So like one example I like to give is our insurance that we pay is $120 for our vehicle, is $120 for the year.
Mm-hmm.
We used to pay more than that a month in the United States.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things like that where like the savings are really big. The other thing that's nice too, though, is you can get a lot of things from the States.
Right.
Like a lot of like soap, like we like to use Dr. Bronner soap.
Yeah.
There's a lot of organic food. There's an organic grocery store, and it's a lot of the similar brands that you'd find in a place like Whole Foods.
Right.
But those are expensive.
Exactly.
You're going to pay a premium for those. But at least if you really want it, it's here.
Yeah.
Like using an organic soap is really important for me, and we can get it.
Yeah.
So it's here. It's possible to get it.
Right.
Where in other places, I remember when we were in Mexico, it took 3 months to get one package and that had that soap in it.
Yeah.
It took 3 months to get it, and it was crazy. But so it's nice. You have the contrast where if you're going to get local things like local foods, it's very, very affordable.
Right. They have little, stands set up on the side of the road.
You get a pineapple for 50 cents, or you get a papaya for 25 cents, and a whole thing of bananas for 25 cents.
Totally. So it's like, but it's also like they have really, high-end 5-star restaurants in town that you will find more American prices. But
So they
then
have
you
the
have the whole spectrum. That's the beautiful thing, is like you can choose how much money you want to spend and where you want to spend it.
So my biggest advice for someone who's going to come down and is interested in moving to Panama is be patient. Things here are slower, and it's a good opportunity for all of us to practice. Things don't need to be done yesterday.
Yeah.
We can chill, we can enjoy the views, enjoy the food, enjoy each other's company, and the things that you need to be done will be done.
Right.
But it's a slower lifestyle here.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
we've had a big learning for that when we were buying land here. And there's multiple ways that you can go about buying land.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that we've learned is the more patient that you can be, the better the land you'll find and the better the price you'll find.
Definitely. Yeah, so when we first started looking at land, we initially went to like a few different realtors. Realtors or realtors? I never know which one it is. But so we went to a few of the main realtors in town, and they took us around, and we probably looked at, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 lots of land, somewhere around there. And we noticed that, the prices with these real estate agents were very, very comparable to the States, certain areas in the States. So it was a little discouraging at first, because we thought, oh my God, like we're going to be able to find land for like dirt cheap.
It's not true.
It's not true unless, I think there are ways around it if you went through like a local Panamanian and bought it directly, from them. But the tough thing about that is nothing's really guaranteed. Things are going to take a lot longer.
It's part of that patience too. It's like, I feel like to buy land through a local Panamanian,
Yeah.
you have to become part of the community.
Absolutely, you have to know how to speak Spanish. Like these are the challenges that you'll have to face if that's the route you want to do. With us, we kind of had that impatience a little bit when we first got here, and we tried both avenues. And really, the most important thing for us was finding the land that we wanted. Whether it was through a local Panamanian or through a real estate agent, we didn't care. We just wanted to find the land that we wanted.
And a real estate agent had this land.
A real estate agent had it, yeah.
So we ended up buying it from through a real estate agent. But there's different avenues that you can go through. And the more patient you are, I think that the more closer to what you're looking for you'll find. Definitely. But also something that really stands true is you get what you pay for at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the land that is close to downtown, beautiful views, great for farming.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more expensive. But if you go further outside of town, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Right. And we looked at both of those options, and it's all about what's important to you. And it was important to us to be close to town.
Right.
And we're 10 minutes from town, but we still feel like we're in someplace that's very remote.
Exactly.
So it's nice to have both of those. That was what we wanted.
Yeah.
But there are ways to save money on the land or the house by getting further away from downtown Boquete, because that's where everyone wants to be.
Exactly.
Or a lot of people want to be that are living here.
Right, definitely.
So overall, I think we both agree this is one of the best decisions we've ever made.
Totally.
Moving to Boquete, Panama.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there weren't moments where we're like, are we sure this is right?
Yeah.
But as it's all played out, there's just been moments that have continued to verify this is where we want to be. This is what we want to be doing.
Yeah.
And
as much as like there are going to be challenges, like you have to expect that there are going to be challenges when you move to another country, but it's it's the sacrifices that you make to live this lifestyle and to live in such a beautiful place with beautiful people, beautiful food, beautiful views, beautiful weather.
So if you're young,
yeah,
or no matter who you are, if you're looking for someplace that's beautiful, perfect weather, exciting, you're looking for that little bit of excitement, something new, a different change of pace, a different lifestyle, different people, different culture.
Yeah.
Boquete is an awesome place. We recommend it to everyone that we talk to.
Totally.
At least coming down and checking it out.
We're trying to lure all our family and friends to come down here with us.
Yeah. So if you decide to come down here, maybe we'll meet you
Totally.
at a coffee shop or at the farmer's market, and looking forward to making some new friends.
Absolutely.